teams are pretty set here on their composition so far, with Athena always trying to get their few commanders. I do wonder if they are going to go for their 3 favorite commanders this game again and try to go for a pushing commander, the Proler, and another commander in either a utility role or the tank role.
Yeah, with 3v3 on this mod, it seems to be good. With 2v2, it's usually better to go with 2 more offensive commanders, I think. But with these 3v3 games, I think we're finding it's good to have 2 offensive and then 1 utility or base commander or something. The Tripax is a good one. It gives you a good early boost with its economy. And actually, the Tripax is a good one to pair up with the Prolert, because the Prolert uses up all that metal really fast, but the Tripax gets a little extra starting metal.
Burnt Custard says, when is the Boombot commander inbound?
The Boombot commander. You know, I've been thinking about different things that we can do, because there are 12 commanders that are going to be in the game, and there are only 11 right now. And there've been a couple other things that I tried. I kind of wanted a unit cannon commander, but it turns out you can't make a factory that is also mobile. At least I don't know how to. So I'm open to suggestions on what the 12th commander can be. And that is actually probably going to be one of the things that the team that wins and then the second place team each get to name a commander ability in the game. And one of those could be the new commander. Not the commander itself, but naming the ability that it has. But of course, I don't think we actually said that. The winning team, each player on the winning team gets a commander code. And if they have the commanders anyway, that's okay. It's just a code. They can give it to a friend.
And all the players are here now, and it will be just a second, and then we will start the pick stage.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, because, you know, we've seen this Athena team now. I think this is our 3rd time watching them, and it's kind of interesting to watch as the game evolves over the course of this tournament, how the different strategies change. Okay, so all the players are loaded in, and I'm looking forward to seeing the pick start. Cult gets to go first. So they get first pick, but again, that means Athena will get 2 picks in a row immediately after, and I don't know which one I would even prefer. What do you think, Kendall?
I think I'd probably prefer to go second, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
to be able to get that power 2 pick, so you can get a definite combo out there instead of picking half of a combo and the other team counter picking your single commander that you picked first.
I think you're right. Although, you know, we see here Cult was able to pick the Tripax, which we know has been pretty popular in this tournament. And there we go. We're getting a Prolert chosen from Team Athena, and then Labs Pacifist is going to choose probably they're on their TeamSpeak discussing it, but I would expect to see something that is a good combination with the Prolert.
I'm either thinking the
Zaphod, yeah.
And there it is.
Yeah, the Zaphod X and the Prolert seem to be good together. In the testing I've done, they can just, the Zaphod can just walk right in, and again, it has no real easy natural counter besides just throwing everything you've got at it, and that gets much harder when there's a Prolert behind it.
I feel like maybe a good counter to the Zaphod would be something like the Martinez, to be able to get the longer range Tech 2 out earlier and kite him backwards from afar.
Well, yeah, so at this stage we've got Cult gets 2 picks in a row now, right? And they could pick the Orbital Commander. Because they could get the Orbital Commander and then the Total Annihilation, and Team Athena wouldn't be able to get the counter to it. So they wouldn't be a direct counter to the Zaphod X, but they would have their own powerful offensive weapon. And it looks like they're taking quite a while to decide on this one, and I'm not surprised. This is a hard pick. And they picked the
Conundrum comes out.
Yeah, so now this one will be interesting, because this one, they picked the Quitch. So now Headcrab is probably going to be forced to pick the Total Annihilation. So the Total Annihilation, of course, like I said, this is one we hadn't seen before, and they do choose it. Can build Avengers right away. And the Conundrum is going to be in a lot of trouble if those early Avengers get out and get that early harass on. So this isn't, neither side seems like it's that overpowered. I think Team Athena has a good tight team composition where they know exactly what they want to do. They've got their combo to push, and they've got their Total Annihilation to build up the base and to go snipe that Conundrum. But you've got a lot more versatility from Cult. They've got their Orbital Commander that can be in a lot of places. They got their defensive combination of Tripax and Quitch, which combined make it really hard to attack a base.
Yeah. It's going to be a really hard time to take on that Zaphod and Prolert combo, though. Even with
Well,
the
I've been thinking,
Orbital.
The Tripax is slow, and it would have trouble chasing down a Zaphod X, but if the Zaphod X is coming in at it, the Tripax has slightly more health. And it can also build catapults, which would probably be the best counter to the Zaphod X of anything. So Cult might be better off just slowly moving forward, progressively taking more and more land and building up massive defenses as they go and just playing the turtle game.
So it seems that Athena is the North Pole here, and the South Pole is going to be Colt.
Yeah, and I like this map because there's so much metal all along the way that early on you really can get away with playing a mostly turtle game. You can't just sit right in your starting spot, but because there's so much metal, you can't take it all fast enough anyway. There's no reason to expand all the way out halfway across the map in the first couple minutes. So I think, and Cult we know has a love for the mega base, and this one forces you into a mega base. I think Cult could do really well here.
Yeah, from here you really got to start in your circle and work your way out through the lanes. And then expand outwards. You can't really just start in your middle and then start in your base and just try to skip to the very center of the map.
And we're seeing the teams placing down their pings, showing each other where they're going to put their commanders. Some of them in the front, some in the back. Just you want to spread them out so that you can take as much territory as you can. You want to put if you're doing a really early push, you want to put them forward. I don't expect Cult to be doing an early push or any kind of commander push really, because they have a much more defensively focused combination. Even the Conundrum, so the Total Annihilation can pin the Conundrum down, keep it from pushing forward, but if Cult gets up Avengers of their own or Umbrellas of their own, their Conundrum is a really good defensive
Total
weapon.
Annihilation starts off up in front for Athena.
Oh yeah, it does. And that one also gets extra resources as well. So the Tripax on Cult and the Total Annihilation on Athena each get extra resources. So they should have matching eco starting off. But of course, that Prolert out of Athena can just build its factories so fast. And that allows
Conundrum,
the other commanders to build eco.
Conundrum just building bot factories here, trying to get a couple ground fabbers out, and then probably gonna go and try to push out one of the lanes.
The first Avenger already done. So if Cult knows it's coming, they can try to get Umbrellas up and just slowly push forward, use the Conundrum as a defensive tool, and they'll do it really well. But if they try to push too far forward, they will be quickly punished.
And Athena taking a really, really fast factory lead here, trying to get up 2 orbital radars at the same time, and they have abandoned one of them.
Maybe an error in communication, but as we just saw, they have a good factory lead. They even have a small eco lead, but they can't fully take advantage of everything because maybe they overbuilt factories. They're already trying to spend more metal than they're gaining. We keep seeing them drop down to 70% efficiency.
And the first Avenger is arriving here now already, within 4 minutes of the start of the game, their Conundrum is starting to get pushed out of the front lines. And if they do not land him or get an umbrella up here quick, it is going to be a very long game.
Yeah, it seems they're going for the umbrella, but I'm kind of thinking that Cult might not know that they can do the S move down to the air layer. But even if they do, we've got early fighters out from Athena expecting that to happen.
They're just waiting for the S move.
Ready to move in, although it looks like Cult is not planning to go S move down to the air layer. Of course, once you do that S move, your commander is immobile. You can't move, you can't build anything, you will immediately pop back up.
And the second Avenger doesn't seem like it's gonna get here quick enough. And that first Avenger is not gonna be able to kill the commander.
Okay, so as we saw, one Avenger isn't really enough. You can defend against it, especially with the build power and the eco of 3 commanders. But if you look at the map, that one Avenger slowed down the Cult so much, confused them so much, that we've got commanders pushing down on 2 different sides from Athena. They've taken at least land all the way up to the equator. They haven't been able to take metal following up their push, but I'm sure the fabricators will be.
The Zaphod X is going to put down a teleporter on the I side and probably still just continually push up his side.
And we're seeing the Total Annihilation building more and more Avengers, and they know that even if they can't push in, even if they can't kill the Conundrum while it's sitting over that umbrella, they can stop it from getting out and taking out just huge armies all at once. And that's what I had meant when I've been saying that you're able to pin down that commander, even if you can't kill it.
Colt now on the defensive here early.
So from the Colt, I'm sorry, I got a message I don't fully understand from Proler giving me an update on another game. It says Cult B has 2 platforms in the middle.
They're talking about hot platforms. So they have 2 side platforms and the middle area also.
But I thought that game was supposed to be played on this current map that we're watching. So maybe I got a little confused. I'm not sure on that one. But it sounds like Cult B is winning.
2 lanes and the middle? I'm not sure. But thank you for the update. And seems here that the Colt do have a lot more progressive expansion going here, though. They do need to get more factories out, but they do have a major economic lead coming out with about 40 to 50 more on average. But they are wasting more than Athena is using.
It looks like they are desperately building commanders all over, but they're also getting more umbrellas up, kind of baiting this Avenger force back over the first umbrella, and if the Avengers decide to retreat, they'll have to go over more umbrellas. But they're doing a lot of good damage, and it
seems the Avengers
will go down, and they killed it.
And the bait did not work out like they planned. The Colt is trying to get an advanced bot factory up on the side.
Yeah, which is a good move. I probably would go for advanced vehicles on this map, but advanced of any kind is really important here because you've got, especially in their case where they have so much metal that they're not spending, they need just a lot more production.
Colt B has taken the game from the Warlords.
Oh. And we see the Zaphod X building walls, defending itself well. It's got an air force behind it, and it's not really able to take full advantage of the Uber cannon that it has because Cult's doing a really good job just keeping their tanks back, holding off the progress on that side, forcing Team Athena to build up pelters behind walls. And as they start to move in, we're seeing that Uber cannon from the Zaphod X just totally destroying an entire army. With Athena just doing what they started out doing, just slowly air raiding in the back of Cult's base, taking out metal every chance they get, just one after another, every little win is good, and they've actually
Athena
done a
is
good amount of damage.
slowly and methodically trying to move up and gain map control here.
And they're pinging the closed deep space radar from Cult. I think being able to see that that deep space radar is closed gives Athena the intel to know that, you know, maybe they're stalling on energy. Sometimes it can be hard to tell when your opponent is running out of energy, but that's a really good sign is when that deep space radar closes up. Cult doing a really good job. They flanked around the Zephod X and they were able to take out a factory, forcing Athena to respond with an army of its own. But I don't know if the force that Cult managed to get through is going to be enough, and here we see the Air Force coming in. There's no anti-air from Cult in that army. Their Total Annihilation, though, being able to push forward, knowing that they took out the Conundrum, the Total Annihilation doesn't need to just sit around building more Avengers. So it can start to move forward and do what it can, build up walls and just be a nuisance.
Quitch is firing flak up into the air at the moment.
It is, but at that distance all they're really doing is just giving away their position. The Quitch's weapon becomes really effective as air units try to swarm in over it, but it's not so good at a distance and it's not so good at just taking out a couple of units.
Colt is trying to get some damage in on Athena there as they push forward.
And like we saw on the hot platforms, Athena really likes their orbital. They have 2 orbital launchers up and running, as well as having the Total Annihilation Commander that could build Avengers if it wanted to.
It seems Athena is going to go for an orbital reclaim here on Colt's front commander.
Are they going to go for the commander, or are they going to try to take down factories?
They're going for an orbital reclaim.
If Cult can have enough energy to turn that deep space radar on, the Quitch can fire its flak cannon up into the orbital there.
And that has started.
It has.
And it
there
hit.
they go.
It was beautiful.
That was nice. It looks like they just turned off their factories just long enough to get that firing out, because they're back in the negative on energy as soon as they got rid of those orbital fabrics. So that was a really nice move. And that, again, is why attacking the Quitch from air or from orbit is really hard to do. You have to hit it from the ground. Which, unfortunately, the Quitch is moving in toward the Zephod X commander that is just sitting there building itself in with walls, rows of walls. It's got a pelter in the back. But a large enough army might be able to do a lot of damage. And the Uber Cannon, as we know, doesn't do that much against a commander. So a commander backed by an army could really hurt the Zephod X, force him to retreat. And the Quitch coming in, taking out a large amount of that Air Force just with his flak.
The Zephod X is under some pressure here by the Quitch.
So one thing that I would have liked to see from Cult is, knowing that the Quitch can deny air, they should have built a lot of bombers and then moved the Quitch in to deny the ability for Orange's fighters to be anywhere nearby, which would have given them an ability to just send in bombers of their own and take out the Zephod X. Quitch has no Uber Cannon though.
The Zephod is starting to really hurt the Quitch here. He's not going to be able to run away in time.
Yeah, I think Cult didn't realize their commander can't get in that close because he has no Uber Cannon. But if Cult had a lot of bombers, they would have been able to scare that Air Force away and then just send everything in against the Zephod X. So now we're down to just 1 commander left from Cult, but it is the Tripax. The one we've seen over and over again is just almost impossible to kill.
It doesn't seem like the Athena is really scouting for that last commander. They're more or less just trying to gain ground right now.
Yeah, I think that once you deal with a lot of the snipe threats that you've got against you on this map, you can just slowly play the drawn out game where you're just grinding along, letting their units come in wave after wave and just smash against your walls, and then eventually you built up enough that you can just end it. Zephod X has taken a good amount of damage though, down to 50% health. Forced to fall back. Unfortunately, Cult lost a lot of their army trying to deal with it.
Total Annihilation is at 80, and the Pro Alert is at 100%.
So I think one thing we saw in this game is Team Athena knew what they wanted to do at the start of this game. They were able to pick their team composition without having anything blocked, and while there was a lot of possibilities, a lot of options from Team Cult, they didn't really have the overall game strategy, larger game plan that Team Athena seems to have. 3 slammers though coming through on the west side, taking a lot of metal.
It seems like
it's not going to be enough.
It seems like Colt was really riding on that Conundrum to be able to get some stuff done this game and be one of their key components of their strategy. And the early harass by the Total Annihilation Commander and his ability to make Avengers really did hamper them and their ability to come back in this game.
Yeah, so in a 3v3, I feel like one of the ways to successfully pull off using the Conundrum is if you get second pick, then you can get the Conundrum and the Total Annihilation at the same time. But otherwise, if you pick the Conundrum, they're probably just going to pick the Total Annihilation. And if you pick the Total Annihilation, they can just pick something else and you had a wasted pick.
And advanced vehicles going up at the Zaphod side of the map.
The Zaphod side of the map is still strong, and surprisingly, even though Team Athena has a Pro Lear, they're using an ordinary combat fabricator to heal the Zaphod X instead of just pushing through.
Boombots are coming out for Team Athena. They are building quite a bit of them, trying to find any info they can on that commander, and it looks like they are going to give him a sniper attempt this game.
Large army is moving in now, and we're seeing the Zaphod X getting a little more aggressive. It doesn't really matter if they lose it. I lost track of the Total Annihilation now is safely about a third of the way down the map.
Does see they are going to challenge that army with the tripacks. They are going to take a lot of damage here, though.
Do you see about 100 boom bots already from orange?
They are about 20%, and this game is over.
So I think well played from from both teams, but Team Athena just knew from the start exactly what they wanted to do, and they pulled it off perfectly. And there might have been a couple instances where Cult didn't fully know exactly what the abilities of their units were. They didn't know that they could drop to the air layer with the Conundrum. They didn't know that Quitch doesn't have a normal Uber cannon. And maybe they just made some mistakes that they wouldn't make in a second game. I was looking forward to seeing all those boom bots though from Team Athena trying to do their snipe at the end, but
I just really wanted the Chronocam to see the Conundrum blown up in the orbit. It leaves like debris up in the sky for a little bit, yeah. Just Athena's really used teleporters this game also to be able to move their units across the map whenever they really needed to get some units some places.